Welcome to the Simple Fix School. This is your deep dive on why I tell people to slouch a lot during my classes. My name is Karen and I'm here to help you understand the movement beyond what the exercise says. Now, often we get people in our classes that have been exercising for a very long time and definitely have underdeveloped glutes. I commonly see this in more men than women because men tend to have stronger backs from the get-go, so their backs are often compensating already. However, I also see this a lot in women who have great posture. If you have really good upright posture, the likelihood is your back is on all the time. Now, unfortunately, up until very recently, the research all told us to draw those shoulders back, open up the chest, and stand proud. Now, I'm not saying that opening up the chest and standing proud is not a good thing. Of course it is. You look lovely. But have you ever wondered why your mid-back gets so tired? Have you ever wondered why you are feeling your mid to lower back towards the end of your lunges, your squats, your leg work? Have you also ever wondered why you are doing so much leg work and not necessarily seeing or feeling the results you're after? The whole point of the Simple Fix School is to ensure that you, either as a coach or a practitioner yourself, understand how to help the people in front of you. And if you are someone who is just practicing and looking to optimize your training, it's important that you understand the anatomy and as well as how to bypass the anatomy to get the results you want. So, as I said, I often use the cue to slouch the upper body during a lunge. Why? Because by slouching the upper body, you are turning off, okay? Deactivating, I put it in commas because nothing is ever off or deactivated, okay? These are just terms and words that we use. But you are taking attention away from the mid and lower back muscles. When you're doing leg work, your trunk is working extremely hard to be stabilized. It is not just your abdominals that stabilize your trunk, it is your back muscles as well. So if we are doing leg work and you're working really hard to have good form and you're super contracted within that sort of scapular section, mid to lower back section, the likelihood is that that contraction is greater than what is happening in your legs. When you hear people talk about the posterior chain, it is because the whole muscle group tends to work as one. If you think about employees in a workplace, if you have two employees that work stronger than the other two, the likelihood is they're always going to be doing more. You're probably always going to be giving them more to do because their success rate is a lot higher. That's kind of what happens between the back and the glutes. So when you're doing your lunges, when you're doing your squats, when you're doing any of your recovery hip hinge work, if the upper to mid back is more dominant and activating more, the likelihood is your glutes and hamstrings are being a little bit lazy. This is why I love the cue to slouch, because by slouching, we turn off attention from the mid and upper back and we drop into the glutes and hamstrings. Let's have a look at this in real time so that you can truly understand how to help the people in front of you or yourself get more activation and focus, effectiveness into the glutes and hamstrings. I'm going to be demoing this on the reformer, but exactly the same thing applies whether you're just lunging on the floor, in the gym, with weights. Whenever you're doing a hip hinge, understanding how the back is involved is super important. So let's get me into a lunge, okay? This is your simple reverse lunge with a hip hinge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push that carriage back, okay? And I'm going to come back up. Simple movement. Now, typically, you're going to be in this lovely upright position because I've cued you to stand up tall and find your neutral spine. Fantastic. The moment you do that, you're going to draw the shoulder blades down because that's what you've been told. You're then going to come all the way down. If you're good enough to even drop your eye line, that's fantastic. A lot of people are already here, okay? Watch the shape of my back. They are already up. Now I'm going to recover and I'm there. Notice how my shoulders and chest basically stay upright. Now, I am going to get a bit of work through this, so I'm not saying it doesn't. However, if I took that same person and I asked them to slouch, okay, so now we're slouched. Now, I'm going to ask them to keep their chin in the same relation to their chest as they go. This means that they're going to drop all the way down to here. They are now slouched. Their back is not rounded. They are just softer through the mid-back. immediately they are more dropped into the leg. Now I'm going to ask them to maintain that slouch and recover by using the leg. I'm going to push the foot into the floor. Can you notice that shake in my leg as I come up? Okay, the difference is I have deactivated my mid back and shoulders. I'm not completely here, I'm not collapsed, okay? I'm just a little bit more conscious that I actually want the work to drop into my leg. Immediately my glute is actually shaking. It wasn't shaking on the first few. Holding that for a second, pushing through the floor to then come back up. So, by using the cue slouch, even though why on earth would a Pilates instructor or a PT tell you to slouch? But it takes the client from being here, super active in that back, to just being shoulder blades resting on rib cage nice and soft. What does this mean? It means the top of the body can chill, my core is still on, don't worry about it, and it means my legs, my glutes, my hamstrings can actually get the effectiveness that they need. Often, if you're teaching a class and there are girls or boys or men or women, whatever, in there with really good posture, this is a cue I'd watch out for. Because the more upright, straight spine, shoulders down they are, likely the less activation they are actually getting into that glute. And you'll be able to see it and they will be able to feel it. They will 100% feel the difference between being here, where it's a full body connection lunge. Great, I can just pump through those. I am working, but I'm strong. Everything feels like it's working in coordination. Take them here. Get them to slouch. Get them to push through the bottom leg. All of a sudden, this area is working way harder. And what is the point of the lunge at the end of the day? Hopefully, get into that glute and hamstring. A lot of them are not going to need more postural work. A lot of them are going to be burnt out, stuck, stiff in this position that they've been hearing for the past 10 years.